We know at the end of the day that our issues are great. We still have to worry about the safety of our people, the education of our children, and we have to make sure that every person has access to affordable health care, as well as making sure that things become affordable. Obviously, we know the affordability crisis is paramount, especially as we see the current issues of today. So we know that affordability is going to be a big issue on the ballot, but we got to make sure that we stick to those true local issues of public safety, of education, and of healthcare.
Alrighty, welcome back. Alabama Politics This Week. Josh Moon, David Person, and we are happy now to have with us Austin Smith, who is running for state rep for District 74 down in Montgomery. That's the seat that is soon to be vacated by Philip Ensler. Listen, that seat's got some history in it, Austin. I know you've been around Montgomery, grew up in Montgomery, but yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running for office.
Yeah, number one, it's always great to be here. Thank you. Finally, we got all the technical
That's right.
difficulties out the way. But my name is Austin Smith. I am a engineer here in Montgomery. I am a son of Montgomery, to put it lightly. I'm son of two public servants. My dad, Robert Smith, is the former director of planning for the city of Montgomery. My mom, Erica Watkins Smith, is a current elected official on the Montgomery County Board of Education, where she serves as the vice president of the board. And like I said, I'm a son of Montgomery. I've grown up in House District 74 my entire life. I'm a graduate of Brubaker Technology Madden High School, also a graduate of Alabama Agricultural and Mechanical University in Huntsville. And I made the choice that I wanted to come back home because home is where my heart is. Home is where it taught me all my lessons. Home is where my community is. That's exactly why I want to run to be in the State House of Representatives, because at the end of the day, we know that, opportunity shouldn't mean that we have to leave home like a lot of my friends did. It should be invested in right here. I don't take running for office lightly. Number one, once I got back to Montgomery, it was just kind of plug and play, get myself back reacclimated into the community. Of course, I've been very active actually since the age of 14, working with underserved youth in tennis over at O'Connor Tennis Center with my coach, Katrina Wilson, working on teaching underserved youth here in Montgomery the tennis skills, education, critical thinking skills, you name it. And obviously we've expanded upon that. Once I got back with my coach, we operate a nonprofit called One Community, and where we do that exact same thing. We started off just working with Cleveland and Kershaw as they brought their kids over for the summer, but have expanded it to now encompass around 120 kids that we service to teach them tennis, to give them a home the same way that I was afforded that home here in Montgomery. So we know at the end of the day that our issues are great. We still have to worry about the safety of our people, the education of our children, and we have to make sure that every person has access to affordable health care, as well as making sure that things become affordable. Obviously, we know the affordability crisis is paramount, especially as we see the current issues of today. So we know that affordability is going to be a big issue on the ballot, but we got to make sure that we stick to those true local issues of public safety, of education, and of healthcare.
Yeah, I've talked to my friends at ASU, and they're going to give you a pass on going north. They said something about that tennis program was
Go Bulldogs. I'm a slight champion, Josh. I love them. I love them, but I had to get my championship off of them. They had won it at that point 4 years in a row, and they have a lot of SWAC championships. So I'm grateful they gave me and my team one at the very least.
Yeah, well, that's a, listen, that's a horse crump. My man over there has done a good job. I remember covering them for a long time. But no, they're going to give you a pass on that because I think you've done a lot of good work, and so they're, my friends at ASU are very forgiving. They're very forgiving, especially when you put back into the community that they serve
Mm.
as well. But and that has been a big thing for you. I know folks are gonna look at you and they're gonna say this is a very young man. Because let's be honest, you look young. I mean, you do. Yeah. I mean, listen, I've heard that my whole life as well. I mean, even today, people say, what are you, 20, 21, 22? And so I get it. I understand where you're coming from on that. Don't roll your eyes, David. Just because they're not saying that to you.
I'm gonna make sure. I'm about to say, you saw David's eyes. I don't know how he felt about that one.
He's not quite.
David's mean.
That.
David's mean. Okay, Austin. All right, he's mean. He's a mean person. All right, that's okay.
Crusty old man. That's what I am.
Yeah. So, but no, it's you are a little older than you appear, and I would say, given your background, I wrote a profile about you that we printed in Alabama Political Reporter, and you've done a lot around in your 26
26
years
years
right?
of life.
Yeah. So, what tell people about kind of your background, your history, and why public service is something that you're interested in.
Yeah, obviously, like I said, it starts really if I go back to it in high school is where I kind of got the more niche of wanting to be within the public policy, public office sphere. It starts with a program called Alabama Youth in Government. Alabama Youth in Government taught me about the ability to debate and negotiate, and gave me a real purview, a perspective on how it is to actually be within the state house. And Youth in Government, they gave us the opportunity to be mock legislators, where we had to go and pass bills and work across party lines to get things done to tackle the tough issues of the state at the time. Because I was a participant from 2014 to all the way to 2018. And it starts there. It starts with becoming the youth mayor in the Youth and City program. It starts with my parents, truthfully. They've been one of the biggest role models for myself and wanting to step into this light, knowing that they were public servants at their very core. They taught me at a very young age just to work hard and to not let anyone tell me what I can or can't do. But on top of that, they told me that, if you do get work, recognition will come and your time will come. And, I'm grateful that I'm in this position, even at the age of 26 years old, to have been afforded the ability to run for office. But, my qualifications just don't stop there. It also starts with me being the 72nd SGA president at Alabama A&M University. It goes to working on the Walt Maddox for governor campaign. It starts with working on the Doug Jones for Senate campaign and, of course, the Joe Biden presidential campaign, all as organizers, and for Doug Jones and Joe Biden as HBCU organizers for my campus. But also, once I got back home, it was, again, plug and play. I became back ignited into the community, being a part of the Marriage and Professionals Council here in Montgomery, working with trying to continue to engage our young professionals and give them access to not just the policy sphere, but also just the recreational sphere, and creating good events for them to attend. And then, of course, another honor of my life is being able to serve on the Superintendent Zacchaeus Bird's transition team to help shape policy that deals with the physical and mental health of our students, and actually being able to come up with policies to hopefully help beat back the chronic absenteeism rate within Montgomery County Public Schools. So, wide net of things that have led me to here, but I'm here, and I know it feels like at 26 I've done a lot, and I feel like I have, and I think I have a resume that stacks up to those that are maybe even 10 times my age. So I'm grateful.
Man, I knew it. I knew after about 30 seconds of listening to you, I was like, this guy was an SGA officer. I knew it.
Yep.
I could just, it effervesces off of you into the atmosphere. I could tell. So with all of this leadership experience that you've had, including and especially, I love the fact that you were a leader at up on the hill here, not too far from where I live. Um, what legislative or policy vision do you bring to this campaign? What do you want to see? What do you want to champion when you get into the Alabama legislature, Alabama House?
Yeah, it really comes down to two things for me as one of my two legislative priorities. But number one is a champion for children, their education. That's purview number one. Education is what brought me here to be able to speak with you all today, and making sure that we continue to invest in every child, especially every child in Montgomery County Public Schools, is paramount. We have to make sure that we eliminate the barriers to why they can't go to school. We talk about chronic absenteeism, and I applaud the state on their effort of making September chronic absenteeism month, but we still have work to do. My trainer as an engineer taught me that you have to measure twice and then build once. So we need to really assess what are the prohibitive factors for a lot of kids going to school. What is making it so difficult for them to get to school, but also stay at school? We have to address that. We have to make sure that we make school a place of not just learning but also of fun, because it cannot be what it is now, a place where we just kind of send kids for 8 hours out of the day and then send them right back to their parents. They have to continue to learn those lessons. We have to pour into them. But also, I want to be a champion of infrastructure. As an engineer, it'd be, I know, kind of foolish of me not to say that I don't want to be a part of the infrastructure conversations, to make sure that we continue to have adequate sewer and water infrastructure, adequate road and bridge infrastructure, making sure that we take care of the nuts and bolts. Because that's what a lot of people, even in House District 74, tell me about is neighborhood infrastructure, getting down to those nuts and bolts where it talks about speed bumps or sidewalks or drainage, or making sure that your sewer doesn't bag up when you flush a toilet. So just getting down to those nuts and bolts, and those are two areas for me I know I want to continue to be a champion for, as I've worked in those two areas for a long time. But I'm gonna continue to learn and grow and expand my knowledge as I get there.
Yeah, so I know a lot of what you've mentioned really falls under the purview of
Hmm.
the municipality of Montgomery. So I guess you're thinking that you'll try to find ways to work cooperatively with them. But I do
That's
want to
right.
go back to you mentioned sewer.
Hmm.
So, I don't know, 50 or so miles west of Montgomery, uh, in Lowndes County
Yep.
and some of those other counties. You got some real serious sewer issues. Now I know that's outside of the legislative district you want to serve, but do you have any thoughts about what kind of policies you might want to partner with or partner on, champion related to addressing that very serious problem, which has been exacerbated now by the
Hmm.
Trump administration's refusal to adhere to some of the agreements that were established under the Biden administration for Lowndes County.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, biggest thing number one is that and actually we saw it recently with the ADEM, with basically the bill they passed where it restricted ADEM from implementing any new regulations that exceed the federal regulations, the EPA regulations. And that's something I think we need to really reassess, in terms of knowing that number one, our issues in the state are very different than that of other states. Our regulations, our environmental regulations are different than that of Georgia, than that of Florida, than that of Tennessee, than that of even Mississippi. We have to make sure that number one, we're reassessing whether or not that is a good law. Because number one, that I think is trying to create a one size fits all approach instead of actually getting down into the nuts and bolts of understanding, what is the particular issue within this county? Does this county suffer from corrosive soil where you have to have higher graded pipe so that it can beat back soil corrosiveness? And that's kind of what you see within our Black Belt area is that our soil, while it's nice, rich prairie soil, it still has issues to where it can corrode just simple pipes, ductile iron pipes, or even sometimes HDPE pipes or PVC. So we have to make sure that we're able to go and back at that law they just passed and say, hey, is this really a good fit for us at this moment in time? We know that at the end of the day, we have to continue to work with our departments to make sure that, especially as state legislator, make sure that we continue to provide adequate investment into municipalities so they can go and upgrade their sewer infrastructure. Because, like you said, in Lowndes County, perfect example is where government kind of took a lax approach to where you now had a lot of people that suffered from backup issues and wastewater that ends up in water systems. And so we're trying to make sure that we're doing those preventative steps before we're actually solving the actual overarching problem. So we got to make sure, like I said, in the engineering process, you assess. So we have to make sure that policy number one says, let's assess what is the issue within our Black Belt communities, why that
Yeah.
community got looked over. And then second, let's provide legislation that is going to add adequate investment into a county like Lowndes County that'll have those similar issues.
Yeah. Well, before Josh starts to wrap us up, I'm going to make a confession.
Uh-oh.
You're 26. I'm 62. I have a child that's older than you. I'm the one who said that you had a baby face, not Josh. But I'm going to say this. I am extremely impressed with you. And I think you're going to I hope and pray you get elected because I think you have the acumen, the skill set, the vision to really serve this state well. And I think if you choose to, you're going to have a long career of public service like your parents. And I look forward to seeing what that looks like. So I just wanted to say that to you, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much, David.
Yeah. Josh,
Oh, you muted, Josh.
Yeah, I think you're muted, Josh.
I'm sorry. There we go. There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. I'm back. Yeah. Now that we got the old folks out of the way, let's young people have a discussion. And so you and I, we're on the same wavelength. We're right there, man. We're same
Right there
age,
together.
basically.
Right there together.
Yeah.
Don't let them fool you, man.
But for real, Austin, I did want to ask you a couple things, kind of specific to the district you're running in. I've known Philip Ensler and his predecessors and the issues that they faced, and Montgomery has got some serious problems.
Yep.
Particularly with youth violence. And I've written about it a lot. We had Mayor Reed on last week and talked to him a good deal about what they're trying to do in the city. I've talked to a number of other people around the city about what they're trying to do there. When you look at it, I mean, you're in that age group of
Yep.
a lot of these guys who are either victims of this violence or committing some of the violence. What do you feel like you can bring to address those issues?
Well, number one, it starts with at least being able to have a face that they can recognize, that they can look at and say that I see myself in him. Because my story is not dissimilar from theirs. If at any point in my life, I could have ended up in the similar situations to where they find themselves in, whether that be socioeconomic or any other type of situation. Knowing that I could have ended up there is definitely somewhere that I feel like as a candidate where I can create the most impact. Number one, we know that we have to continue to expand our youth opportunity here in Montgomery. We have to make sure the legislators, we're not trying to overstep city government. We're just trying to be the aid, the addition to but also we come with a discretionary fund that we can pour back into the community, into your boys and girls clubs or your other organizations, or even like the organization that me and my coach run, One Community, where we can pour back into those organizations so that they can continue to provide resources to our children so that they don't have to pick another alternative route. So we have to make sure that as we see our victims of crime be a little bit younger, we have to figure out how can we go and prevent that from happening in the first place. We had what was labeled a mass shooting downtown that even I was in attendance at the time of it all happening. And when I read the stories of a 17-year-old that was downtown, and that got senselessly murdered, that is something that just shouldn't be the case. We keep losing our best and our brightest, not to anything else other than really just the streets and other bad actors within their communities. So we have to be the champions of change and the champions of the future that we want to emulate for these kids. We want to provide them with those resources. We want to make sure they have adequate education. And on top of that, we know that not every kid is going to want to go to college. So we have to pour into making sure they have access to career techs, trades, military, and continue to expand our workforce development so that if they don't want to go to a 4-year institution, they have adequate options to go do other things. They want to be their own entrepreneurs or they want to be their own bosses, then we have to make sure that we do all that we can to provide that investment. But like I said, it starts back with making sure that we expand our youth opportunity, pour back into those long-standing community organizations, but on top of that, continue to expand the offerings of higher education and making sure that we provide base level education, equitable education throughout all of our schools. So those are kind of the two ways that I feel as though we can solve the issues that we have right now, public safety, especially in terms of youth, as it pertains to that. Because we know in the day that our kids are our future. I think I'm definitely a byproduct of that. And I'm grateful for the opportunity that I have. So that opportunity just shouldn't be to just me. It should be expanded to every youth, especially within this house district and especially across the city that I call home.
All right. Well, listen, Austin, man, we appreciate you. And you know,
Yep.
we wish you luck and you know, anything that we can do to help, because we love the vision and
Yeah.
you know, you know, as David said, you know, you're like a son to him now. And so it's you know, it's
David, he's taking a lot of shots, David.
He is.
He
Yeah, I
said
have
you're
to deal with
old.
him when once we shut down this episode. I'll have to deal with him. I
It's
have some
all right.
choice
Look,
words for him.
it's not a lot of times y'all get to interview somebody that's probably relatively younger on the
Right.
younger perspective.
Yeah.
So you know, I think I
Yeah.
definitely am a different breed of person. So I know I'm a little different. So I know y'all get
You
to act
are,
a
but
little
you're
bit
very
fun.
impressive, though. You're very
That's right.
impressive, and I just want to keep saying that because I think people need to be watching you and on the lookout for you, and we need to encourage you as you continue to move forward, man.
That's right. Yeah, we will. Awesome, man. Thank you so much for you know, for running for office and for what you've done and for spending some time with us today. We really do appreciate you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Josh. Thank you, David.
All right.
All right.
That is
Take
Austin
care, man.
Smith, a bright future, and hopefully a bright future for Montgomery with him there in the new District 74 seat. So, all right, we're going to slide out. We'll come back in just a minute. It's Alabama Politics This Week. Back in a moment.